Okay, so today we will talk about how we can leverage AWS services, not specific to AWS, any cloud services in fact, for test automation. Okay, and who am I? As you may all know that I am an SDET, not powered by AI because everything is powered by AI these days. And what I do, since last 1 year, I am trying not to be replaced by AI. Trust me, that's what I am doing. What I can do so that no one can replace me. So no one in the means not human these days. So yeah, this is my LinkedIn and YouTube. You can check later. So let's first think like why I come up this topic. So as a QA, we often feel like, okay, let's learn cloud services, let's get into DevOps. At some point of time in everybody's career, they think like, okay, why not? I will try to DevOps, I will get some more money, right? Or else I will get into some cloud solution architect, right? And then sometime we are unable try to figure out that, okay, how I can learn. That part is quite easy these days. You can go to YouTube, learn, do some certifications. But after that, what happens? After 3 months, you will forget everything, because you are not implementing these things, right? So this session I will be more focused like what are the services you should target to implement in the initial days of your learning. So for example, AWS has more than 200 services, right? So if you just go randomly and start to learn, it will be very difficult for us to figure out that, okay, where to start, which one to implement, how I will make sure that my resume will get shortlisted if I mention this AWS services. So that's what we try to do, right? We upskill and then we try to do a job change, correct? So that's where my topic is all about, that what are the services we are going to target in the first initial months of your AWS preparation, right? So now let's imagine this, that you have a team, you have devs and maybe devs and DevOps all are working in AWS, but as a QA you are not leveraging it at all. You are still struggling how to scale your automation, how to make sure that your reports are being properly managed, and that's where the cloud come into picture. And I have talked to a lot of folks in my LinkedIn, and all of them are saying that, okay, we do have AWS in our team, my dev is using, but when I reach out to them, they are giving me scenario which are more dev specific. So again, I am in a dilemma that how I'm going to do it in my automation, and they end up like, okay, it's not maybe for QA, let's forget about it, and they try to move on to some another technology, right? So today I'm going to give you 5 services that you should definitely try if you are in the QA field, okay? And these services are tried, tested, being used in many of the major organizations, and they are trying to also make sure that these services are benefiting them in their product quality, right? So the first services, so these are the 5 services that I am going to kind of give you a little bit information, all the architecture and everything about this 5 service. The first is the S3. So for the QA folks, S3 is nothing but your report folder that you have in your framework. There is a folder we may have in all our frameworks, reports, where we keep all our HTML reports, right? So just replace that with S3. As simple as it is, right? So the reports folder is, local means if you put it in the local machine, then you need to upload somewhere, or sometimes we even put it in git ignore, right? So all those hassles you don't have to do. So S3 is nothing but that storage services which help you store your reports, artifacts, videos, screenshots, everything at one place. So that's where S3 come into picture, right? The second services is CloudWatch. Again, I am putting it in a very QA term. Let's assume you have execution from last 1 year, okay? And you want to check like what happened in 3 months back. Okay, there is a defect you get, and you remember the 3 months back there was some issue related to it, but you don't know what happened during that time, right? And you want to go and cross check that what happens in that report. So if you're not managing it properly somewhere, then it would be really trouble for us, right? Sometimes we end up in I have ended up many times 5 years back, like where was the report? I was unable to figure out. I was searching through all the reports here and there. We used to store in a drive, usually network drives, right? And there are a lot of reports over there, so it's difficult. So instead of that, just we can try to use CloudWatch, which will help to keep our logs, and we can fetch it by smaller queries from the CloudWatch, which will be much easier for us. So storage plus proper managing of your logs. And these logs are pretty crucial when you get some production bug at the later phase of your releases, right? The third one is the SNS, that is a notification service. many of you may have used email notification in our automation framework, right? I'm trying to correlate everything with automation framework. So we have email notification, right? You may have used the email service, right, which was pretty famous in 2013-14 during initial days. Now people are using Jenkins notification, right? Jenkins email notification. So just assume that these are email notification. So now let's assume you want to do Slack notification, you want to do some other SMS services, integrate with some other application, or you want to manage it in a more professional way, more streamlined way, then SNS is your answer. This is a notification service. So you don't have to depend on multiple email services, integrating into your framework, just you can use the SNS for there. Now the fourth one is the device farm. Now device farm is kind of, let's assume you are in a project, okay? They have told you like you need to test in Android and iOS. You don't have an iOS device. So what you do, or you may not have a Android device. What we do, we go and create an emulator, right? Many of you may have used, right, Android Studio emulator to test our applications. Or sometimes we go and test on different, like there are many providers, right, in the market which provide you cloud devices. But those are again added cost for you. And sometimes we don't get approvals that why you are trying to buy some external licenses, what was the reason, get approvals. So we end up testing in emulators. And then when defect comes in the real devices, the blame will again come back to the QA, right? That why you have given sign off. So that's where device farm comes into picture. If you have AWS, and most of us have AWS licenses in our organization, then you can use device farm, which will give you all the real devices hosted in cloud, right? So now I will, at the end, I will show you why all those things are together. Means it is not like any one you can pick, any one you can pick, but when they all five come together, it is like fantastic five maybe. And the last one is Lambda. This is one of my favorite. So Lambda is somebody who is like, you wake up in the morning, you have 10 courses to do, right? Just imagine if you have a person, you will tell them, man, those are my tasks, just do it. And once you complete, let me know. That's the Lambda. Okay, sometimes you may have written or may not. We create small Python script, batch script to perform some of the tasks in our automation frameworks, right? We call those shell scripts, batch scripts, so you don't have to go through that hassle. And I'm not sure how many of you used, but that was a really big problem. We cannot run those scripts efficiently everywhere. So what we do, we end up maybe telling that that is not in our scope, because managing those batch script, shell script along with your automation frameworks is tedious. That's where Lambda come into picture. Lambda will take care of all those things which you want to do apart from your framework setup. Just a typical example, you are running your automation suite. After that, you want to make some calculation or some logic, right? And that one should trigger after your entire automation flow is completed, report is done. Means that is not part of your automation execution, but you need to do it every time your automation runs. So that's where the Lambda come into picture. I will give you a very nice flow diagram with examples how exactly it comes into picture, right? So let's understand, we have a scenario like this, okay? Your code is pushed. So I guess all of you are aware of build, deploy, test. 3 phases in CI/CD, right? Build, where you build the dev code, then deploy it in the environment, and then test it. So let's assume your dev has pushed the code, your automation should get triggered, right? That's the ideal thing happened in the CI/CD pipeline. So once the automation get triggered, test run across web and mobile using device farm, right? So here we have heard about device farm. So here comes the device farm. Once it get triggered, it will go to device farm, run those tests. Then the test logs and reports are uploaded to the S3 once the execution is completed, right? Third, Lambda checks test status and generates a summary. We have created maybe a script which will basically check the test status and generates a summary. Then CloudWatch logs and metrics track fail, pass and fail trends. And the last one is failures is greater than threshold, SNS sends an alerts. This is an exact scenario that works out in many organizations. Okay, many big organizations are trying to follow this. Not trying, they are even in fact doing this exact flow. Why I am giving you the exact flow? Because I know after this, maybe many of you write in your resume that I know a little bit, because people do this, right? 1 hour of Docker video, I have 5 years of experience in Docker. And you ask them how to just shut down a container, they are not aware of. So that's why I'm giving you a flow, so that you will have a visualization in your head that how exactly everything falls together. So this is how it works actually. Device farm, then S3, then Lambda, then CloudWatch, then at last the SNS, right? So now let's understand in a more sequence diagram way, okay? I hope it is not look scary. No. Okay, cool. Because this one is AI generated, folks. Okay, I have used. So I have used. I will tell you about this. This is a very good. There is a tool called as Mermaid. If you guys are not aware of, do use it, folks. That's a super cool one. They have an AI feature. Okay, so you can just give them the flow. It will create your diagrams for you. Okay, so that's a very cool one. I use it a lot. So this is the sequence diagram, and I'm very bad in drawing images and creating. That's why I take help of it. So developer puts the code. Your CI/CD pipeline trigger the web and mobile test runs. It will execute in the device farm. Execute automate test case in the framework, right? Because device farm will basically take your framework and run it. You need to have a framework, right, where your all test cases are there. It will pick it from there, execute it, and then it will upload the test logs, screenshots, reports in the Amazon S3 services. The logs and metrics, pass percentage, duration, everything basically will be passed on to the CloudWatch. And here Lambda is also working, if you can see, invoke summary Lambda post test. If you guys are confused on this part, let me explain in a very good way. Invoke summary Lambda post test, where exactly this come into picture. Let's assume your execution is happening every day till 30 days, right? Now at the 30th day, you want to know that which of the test cases are flaky. Then what you need to do, you need to check which are the test cases are failing regularly, right? So you need to go and manually check, okay, this one day fail, pass. That entire logic can be driven by Lambda. So what Lambda will do, it will go through the data that has been stored, like, okay, this test case passed on this day, 30 days of data it will analyze and figure out that, look man, this test case is failing more than 15 times in 30 days run, means more than 50% of failure, this could be a flaky test. That's what Lambda does, right? So you don't have to go and manually check. Just imagine if we have less test case, it's fair enough. Now, if you have 1000 plus test case, tedious for you to go and check which one is failing every day, right? So manual intervention would be there. So why to do it manually when Lambda can do it very efficiently? It will just tell you that, look man, these are the flaky tests, and it will fetch from the logs and tell you that, okay, the reason of the flakiness could be this, because every time I'm getting this error for your this test case. That's what Lambda comes into picture. So it's basically the thinking part of entire this flow. So now it will move to the CloudWatch and store it, and aggregated pass and fail data, and AWS Lambda will again provide it to CloudWatch. So CloudWatch is your dashboard, just imagine it in that way. Everything you want to see, you look, you want to analyze, you will go to CloudWatch. It is your basically your dashboard. Your junior QA engineers, interns should access only CloudWatch. So that's how the setup should be. You cannot just go and tell them just look into the Lambda, make changes. No, you should give them a thing where they can start easy, right? Because I remember when I started my career in 2010, the scenario is very different, right? There was no YouTube videos, in fact, to learn. So we struggled a lot during our initial days. So that's why to new engineers, we should not kind of give everything. We just give them CI/CD pipeline and then the CloudWatch. So they should aware of everything from these two things. That's why everything is kind of related with CloudWatch. And then last, if you see Amazon SNS, now whatever data as your Lambda will figure out. For example, Lambda is saying that, okay, this test case is failing more than 15 times, 20 times. You will get a SNS notification also for that. That, okay, this one is really red alarm, either skip it or else handle it immediately. More to that, you can also integrate in a way, it will create a ticket for you, severity 2 ticket, that, okay man, look at this, because this is failing 15 times, you are unnecessarily means increasing your failure percentage, right? Another use case over here for SNS is like, let's assume you have told it like, I have 3 suite, BVT, build verification test suite, regression and smoke. Now you will tell Lambda that, look, whenever my test cases in regression pass more than less than 80%, you will let me know. When 100%, smoke is 100%, right? Smoke BVT should pass 100%. So if it is less than 100%, you will let me know. Why? Because when the execution complete, Lambda will trigger you a Slack notification where your dev, DevOps, everybody will be there that, okay, this build has some problem because less than 80% of regression are, means less than 80% is pass percentage and less than 100 is the BVT and smoke suite execution. And that's where you get into action, right? What is the issue, right? How to fix it? You may block the pipeline that, okay, it should not deployed in the next pre-prod environment or UAT environment. All those things you can start doing from their SNS notification, right? So this is overall the diagram of our entire flow. Now let's get into the coding part a bit, okay? So how exactly you can implement it? right? Because you need little bit of coding section on where to implement, how to implement, what code to write. And to help you folks, not through images, I have created a document separately where I have given the code. So little bit of GPT plus my code, you can work it out. Okay. So I will give you that link, pick that code, integrate in your framework. Okay. Or else ask GPT, okay, this is the code I got, let me know where to integrate. But yes, people, why I done this, because a lot of my students told me that, okay, we learned it, it was very good, image was nice, I was happy, dopamine was great, but after one day I forgot everything. When I opened my AWS on my machine, it was scary. It was nothing what you have shown in the PPT, and that's where you need the code. So I will give you the entire code piece, folks. Okay, so don't worry. This one just focus, so no need to write or pay attention in the code part, just understand. So Amazon S3, the top part, Amazon S3 integration is the easiest one. You just need to set up an S3 client. S3 is Amazon S3 client, and then you can put the object in this way. The file and all you need to change, right? The path and all, definitely I have given you the path. So that's where you need help of GPT and all, like I want to do it, you can use some prompt, right? So that it will help you, like how you can upload the reports. So basically this is how you can, so I have not given the S3 client setup code over here. You can get it anyway from GPT or somewhere, but yes, you need to take help of S3 client and then use this method called as put object. Okay. Now you may be thinking why I am giving this, so that you can give it a try to implement. Because trust me folks, if you don't implement, everything you will forget within a week. Okay, because we are not Sheldon, right? So we will forget everything in a week, and after that if somebody asks you, you will say, I know something but I will learn. So that I will learn will never complete. That's why I'm giving you code, because I was that lazy guy. Okay, if somebody told me something I will not do, and once I do it on my machine, somehow I keep it with me for a very long time. So, and the second one is CloudWatch. CloudWatch integration is little bit kind of, you can say, not so easy. Why I say not so easy? Because there are a lot of analytics things you get, logs, groups, you need to learn how to put, because when you fetch from CloudWatch, there are small queries. Those are easy actually, but it's not like at one place you will find everything. You need to do little bit of R&D. So there is a very nice CloudWatch video, which I will add it in the doc that I am going to share with you folks. Okay, but so CloudWatch is a little bit tricky part, but exactly this is how we put metric data into CloudWatch. Okay, just to get an idea that first we put the reports, that is put object method. The next one is put metric data to store into the S3. Now SNS, if you notice, those commands are very easy for just one liners. Okay, the setup is little bit tricky, but it's not that much, but the commands are very easy. But to get to know this command, you will spend kind of a week or so. You will watch a number of videos, because when I also tried, I was struggling to figure out that how exactly I will get this exact command. So I just picked that one and put it over here. So this is how you can basically publish. Okay, from Lambda, how you can publish this ARN message, alert, all those things you can set up of your own. Okay, so when you start doing it, you will automatically get to know where it, and in the SNS AWS official page also they have given this code, so nothing like you have to memorize. Lambda one, there is no code I have given, because this is very specific to your requirement, right? What do you want to do with Lambda, right? So basically, yeah, people use Python a lot these days, so I've written like Python or Node.js, anyone. So basically, yeah, and the logic you will put like what's the pass percentage for your organization and how you want to do the setup for that one. And that is about the device farm. Device farm setup is pretty much similar to if you have used the other services. I guess you may have used browser stack or something like that, right, in your organization. So it's just similar to that. How we are setting up the capability over there, it is pretty much similar to this, that you can do a device farm schedule run in this way. Okay. One thing over here folks, this device pool part that you are seeing, right, that one is little tricky to manage. Device pool is basically having a lot of mobile devices. It will go and pick any random one from that list, just random one it will pick. Okay, now if you, because I have struggled here a lot when I was setting up device farm, if you want to do something specific for you, you need to set up a private pool or something. Okay, so just make sure on this part, on the pooling part, rest of the things are pretty easy. If you pass, it will directly work on that. Now let's try to summarize everything, whatever I have shown. So this setup is full visibility of your test health over time, that is CloudWatch. artifacts management S3, your notification service SNS, your real device testing hosted in Cloud Device Farm, and Lambda is definitely all your rest of the small tasks. Now let's talk little bit about, so these 5 services you should first try, okay? Now many of you may have already tried some of these services. For them, what's next, right? What they will do if they have already tried many of them, or you just wrap it up within a month, then what next you should target, right? So there is a service called as Amazon Q, which is AI-powered test insight. Sorry, I have used the AI-powered word, but yeah, this is a cool one, okay? Amazon Q is a cool one. You can do a lot of things. It works like an GitHub Copilot you may have used, right? So I have used this for a long time. Amazon Q, it's a pretty cool tool, okay? You can do a lot of, means this is the service you should explore after the 5 services. Always remember, those 5 services are your core, okay? For example, you cannot learn Selenium without knowing the DOM structure, right? Then how you will identify the locators. You cannot learn Selenium without knowing how the browser driver work, right? So that's the way. The first 5 services should give you the idea like, okay, this is the area where I should start my learning. Once you are stable with those 5 services, if you want to grow, then this is the first service you should explore. Second one is service mocking using API gateway, which is again a AWS services plus Lambda. This is a good combination to try, very important for SDET folks, okay? Third one, serverless chaos testing, not means, it is taking up little bit more these days, but here you need a proper SDET team to implement, okay? If you don't have a proper SDET team, better to kind of park it little bit for the later phase, okay? Shift left with AWS Device Farm mobile test, that one we have already discussed. Enhanced QA dashboards with QuickSight. So QuickSight is another AWS services which is very, very good. So what QuickSight does, let's assume your manager is saying that I want to see all the last quarter execution, give me the report, okay, with a graph and everything, fancy things. So what you will do, you will go and fetch the information from maybe CloudWatch and then try to create a data on Excel sheet with a graph and something, nothing to do. QuickSight can integrate, fetch the data and generate the report, entire visualized report, pie chart, bar chart, whatever you want. It will give you the very good report automatically by fetching your data. So this is the next phase. That's why I told those are the next phases. If the first 5 things are not done, these things will not work properly, okay? So that's why once you have the data stored, you can ask QuickSight, okay, go and pick the data from there, create a good report, and then you can tell like send an email to my boss every 30 days or every 2 quarter, every 4 quarter, right? You can schedule it as per your requirement, correct? Apart from this, 2 services I am saying which I didn't talk about because it is everywhere on YouTube, that is EC2 and IAM, okay? So EC2 you all know, it's an instance, it will provide you machine in easy language, right? Or instances which you may have already tried, that's why I have not added. Second one is IAM, that will give you basically the access, right? Why we need access? Let's assume you are managing your S3, right? You are storing some reports or some results which you don't want to share across the team. Then you can kind of take help of IAM rules, policies, which will help you to manage those buckets or access to different areas efficiently. So basically, if you are working as a lead, if you are working as a manager, if you have a huge team to take care of, then you will play around with IAM a lot because a new joinee came, you need to add. Right now, people are doing LDAP group, and there are a lot of things to manage it efficiently, though. But yes, IAM will be there. But if you are an IC, you may not come across IAM very frequently. Okay, that's what my experience was. So now, just to summarize, I hope this part everybody clear. Before I proceed, I want to make sure this part everybody is clear, right? Awesome. Either I am teaching properly or people are not listening. By the way, folks, I am into teaching field from a long time. Recently, I stopped, but when I was in India, I was doing it very aggressively. So somehow I learned from my mistakes. I am trying to convince to give you good rating to me. So now I told you, right? I will give you a document because I know people usually forget everything after the session, right? So what I did, I put every code over here, folks. Just go, maybe tomorrow, do it either tomorrow or Monday, or else you will forget. And trust me on this, okay? Many times it happened, I heard like, okay, this one is awesome and I am going to try. After 2 days, I just somehow forget it because we have a lot of tasks, deliverables, right? Maybe you folks are searching for job. So this is not the time where you will excel, because cloud services is not kind of must-have skill set yet in the QA resumes, right? We all know that they still look for Selenium, Rest Assured, Maven, Jenkins, Git. Still these 5 keywords help you in job search. So, but that's why I'm saying I've given you the code so that it would be much easier for you folks. At least try to copy paste it. If it is not working, take help of GPT or something. Try to run at least one flow. The easiest one is S3. Uploading into S3. Okay, so give it a try. I've given all the code base over here. I have integrated with Rest Assured framework. The reason is that because it will be much faster to do the setup with Rest Assured. Selenium takes some time, right? So that's why I have given Rest Assured so that it would be easy for you folks to explore. So this link I'm going to give you folks so that you can try after the session. Makes sense, right? And this is where you will give me rating. I have already given 5 for myself. Okay, let's. Okay, so now it's time for question.
Yes.
Yep, I'm on time.
You have 15 minutes.
Okay, great.
Those QuickSight only consumes CloudWatch logs, or can we deploy to something else? Like I use GitLab for my pipelines.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if I can just export the test jobs from GitLab directly to QuickSight.
Yes. That it's not like we need to. Means those are services, right? You can just plug in from anywhere. GitLab, Jenkins, Circle CI, TeamCity, Bamboo. Anyone I left? I guess those are the 5 cloud, right? Major CI/CD. So anyone you use, it will integrate. Okay. So it's no worries on that part.
How unique it is with Power BI?
Yes, it's same. It's a replacement. Power BI, QuickSight, Tableau, right? All are kind of fall into the similar.
Because it's all part of the
Similar bracket. Yeah. But see, if your application is in AWS, then you have a license of it. Because why the main reason I picked this session, when I talk to folks on LinkedIn, many folks are saying we have AWS in our team. Our dev is using. They are saying us you can use, but we are not sure what to use, right? Yeah, where to use. Yeah.
We are using the S3 buckets. So
Yeah, that's good.
Probably I'll refer more.
Yeah. Yeah, QuickSight is a very good one. If you have a big, huge team, and sometimes it's difficult, right, to fetch data, create reports, send it to managers. It's sometimes difficult, and for them also, it's just give them the QuickSight. Whenever they want, they come and check, right? That okay, this is my report. I got to know everything what is happening around QA space. Yep.
How do you compare the API gateways with the Postman collections now?
So there is nothing to. So API gateways is Postman collections are pretty different, right? Because Postman collections is for mostly people have used for manual testing Postman. As far as I know, automation is not yet that much in Postman collection. API gateway is different. You can kind of set up your own endpoints with API gateway. So API collection is just the collection of endpoints to run, right?
Correct.
So both are kind of two different.
But even a Postman can also run your REST API calls.
Yeah, Postman can run your REST API calls, but API gateway can design mock services. Means you can design your own endpoint, own services, and then host that. Postman also do mock services. So, but API gateway, as I told, right, everything at one scope of cloud services rather than moving around with multiple things. In fact, I guess mocking would be external, means in the market if I talk, mocking is best with Mockito, WireMock. Those are being primarily used, right? If we look into job profiles or if we search in LinkedIn also job search, then mostly they ask WireMock, Mockito. But yes, if you are into cloud, if you say I know more API services to the cloud side, they will not kind of reject your resume because it's the same thing you are doing, right? But Postman is not that much useful. Why I feel that adoption of Postman is still not huge. It's there only to run manual tests. People are not using automation. At some part, I felt like it's a tool, right? So if there is some change from there and in future, and you already have 5,000 test cases there, you will be in a very trouble situation, right? Let us assume they say, okay, this license is not going to work from tomorrow. We are starting this line. You cannot do anything. You have 5,000 test cases. It will take you a couple of years to migrate them, right? With AI, maybe quicker, but yeah, that's why actually usually I have seen that people are avoiding. In fact, I guess from Java side, Rest Assured is the library which is being the most used in API automation. from Python, the request library is the one which is the most used.
Request for
Yeah. So the major,
APIs, right?
yeah, major is Python. If you are a Python person, then request library. If you are a Java person, then it should be rest assured. Yep. Yeah. And JavaScript, Cypress, Playwright, superb, right? So 3 languages have 3 options. Yeah, means usually that's what the options are. And if you are looking for the UI, this one I am adding because if you are, many of you may are searching job. So if you are in Java, your web automation, you have an option with Selenium, mobile automation APM, API automation rest assured. Python package is like robot library, PyTest. PyTest is the most asked, and then the request library. In the JavaScript and TypeScript, you have Cypress and Playwright. This is what exactly now the combination is going. I'm not sure what will happen. Yeah, MCP is being superimposed these days. If you guys have not tried, then go and try Angie Jones. You may have heard she has done a very good job in Selenium MCP. Playwright MCP is also very good. Okay, I have tried Playwright MCP. Selenium MCP I haven't tried, but Playwright MCP is very good.
Just so you know, Cyprus guys are in the conference. I don't know if they are here. We have
My goodness, yeah, Cyprus is good.
Are from Cyprus, so I'll help you connect if you want at the 4 p.m. thing. You can directly ask them tough questions. Their relations team, so it would be helpful.
Milan, do they have MCP? I'm not sure. I have not seen it.
Know. Yeah.
Or maybe they will release, but they have not released because this one, I guess, NG is released in Selenium conference, right?
Saw that,
Yeah, Selenium conference. And Playwright MCP is also quite latest. It's not like too old, right? Quite new. And if you have any JavaScript, ask Milan. Yeah, this guy has created a lot of apps. I was talking, but anyway, let's not talk about it.
Let's not talk. So I think we have a question.
In my organization, we have a lot of multi-device testing that we need to do. So when I say multi-device, we spin up something on one device, we perform something, a UI action on one device, and we need to verify that on another device. So in the AWS Device Farm ecosystem, is there a way we can do that?
See, I will not give you any yes or no answer. What I would suggest that you talk to the AWS folks. Okay, they will guide you very precisely on this one. Okay, because there is it is possible, but I would still recommend you to talk to them so they may tweak a little bit or help you in a more professional way rather than I am just giving you a tweaking advice, right? But it can be easily done. It's not kind of a very.
Make sure you talk to them because they are very customer obsessed. I've talked with them.
Yes, that's what I told.
And they would love to hear that.
Yes.
I work for Amazon, but I'm a customer of AWS. I'm on the retail side, so I'm a customer.
Yeah, I mean, I used to work with Amazon too, so I know how things work inside.
Then I'm not going to answer at all.
One other question was, how difficult is it to set up a private lab when you were mentioning about the
It's
AWS
easy,
Device Farm?
not difficult at all.
As a consumer of an AWS account.
Yes, it's not difficult. It's not
Do you
difficult.
have like a documentation available?
Yes, if you go to the AWS Device Farm official page, they have clearly mentioned like, okay, this is the pool system works. This is how you can pick the devices. So that's pretty much easy. Not a difficult task.
You cannot run it on your own devices.
Yes,
That's exactly what I was coming to. So what is the point of a private lab?
So you yeah, Carlos, you want to take this?
Yeah, private lab is just your reserved instances.
Yes.
So they're just your instances, but they are on their data center.
Yep.
Okay.
This is the feature that I keep asking them to do. Great. You also ask them to do it. Because I want it for myself.
So private pool is like, see, if you go to public pool, it will pick random, right? Means there is 100 device, it will go and pick this device. Next time it will pick this device. So it will be random from the pool, right? Now if you have a private pool, you kept 2 device. Usually private pool, I feel like would be a easier one if your requirement is like that. If your requirement is like just run in Android for this, but still I guess private pool is not a difficult thing to set up. Okay.
Just so you know, Flint Lab is one of our sponsors, and they are actually showing how you can set up private labs. They have a live demo. They will really interact with their actual lab.
Yep.
They can set one for you, and I think it comes with regulation that you want a data center in this region or a regulated kind of bank thing. Those requirements are really common, and I totally get that.
And you can set up our own device farm in your organization too. You know that, right?
But Carlos just mentioned.
No, not with AWS. I'm saying if you want to do it of your own, I want to set up my own lab. It can be doable.
I was talking from the
No, AWS definitely private pool means you have your own specific devices, not your own devices, means devices from, because the logic is cloud hosted device, right? So everything is hosted in cloud.
There's
We
a
have
question.
time for one more question, please.
So you mentioned about serverless chaos testing.
Yep.
Can you elaborate the definition, like what it is and what?
Yes, what I can do, I can add it in that link because that's a very long topic for me to explain. I will put it in that link which I will share you folks. You can just read it over there, okay? But I would suggest that serverless chaos testing it should not be on the top of your list as of now, okay? Why the reason is that the setup is not that easy to perform, okay? But I will put it over there. Almost whatever I've explained, I have put it in that link so that you guys can go and walk through it. So this is about me. Because the initial about me was not so impressive, so I put it over here. Yeah.
Maybe whatever you've given, the scripts and other things, all good, but there is a kind of a cleanup activity which needs to be done, right? How does, you have not explained it, but maybe you can add one liner, how to remove all the objects or how to clean it up, make sure that you don't have pile up.
I will do one thing. I will give an edit option over there. You can put this one so that I can address, right?
This is your feedback, yeah. Data cleanup is like a challenge. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, folks.